I started a billion-dollar company after my family disowned me. Now my cousin, ex-boyfriend, and stepfamily are furious I hired everyone they ever bullied as executives. Welcome, family. Please subscribe if you enjoy stories like this. Say hello in the comments and tell us your city or country. With that, let's continue our story. The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor inches from my feet. My stepmother's face twisted with disgust as she screamed, "You're nothing but a charity case who got lucky with a scholarship." It was my college graduation party, supposed to be my celebration. Instead, I stood in the corner of their mansion while my stepsister Brielle paraded around in the designer dress I'd saved 6 months to buy for myself. She'd borrowed it from my room that morning. "Tell her, Alec," my stepmother demanded, gripping my father's arm. My dad wouldn't meet my eyes. After Mom died when I was 12, he'd remarried within a year. I'd spent the last decade trying to earn their approval, working 3 jobs through college while my stepfamily spent his money freely. "The thing is," Alec, my boyfriend of 4 years, stepped forward, his arms sliding around Brielle's waist. "We've been together for 8 months now. She's pregnant." The room spun. My cousin Tasha laughed from the couch, phone recording everything. "This is going viral," she sang out. My father finally spoke. "You've always been difficult. Made everyone uncomfortable with your ambition. Maybe it's time you found your own way. Leave," my stepmother added. "Tonight." I looked at each face. Family who'd tormented me, excluded me, stolen from me. The guests, their friends, watching like I was entertainment. Something crystallized in my chest. Not heartbreak. Clarity. "You'll regret this," I whispered. Tasha laughed harder. "Oh honey, what are you gonna do?" I walked out with nothing but my degree and a fire in my belly that would consume everything they'd ever taken for granted. I slept in my 15-year-old Honda that night, parked outside the campus library. My phone exploded with notifications. Tasha had posted the video everywhere. "Scholarship girl gets dumped at her own party," trending across platforms. Former classmates I thought were friends commented, "Always knew she was stuck up," and "Alec upgraded for sure." At 3 a.m., shivering in the driver's seat, I opened my banking app. $473. My partial scholarship hadn't covered everything. Those 3 jobs had gone toward rent in my father's house. Rent he demanded while my stepfamily lived free. My computer science degree felt worthless clutched in my hands. Every company I dreamed of working for would Google my name and find that video first. Then I remembered Professor Adams's words from senior year. "Your algorithm is revolutionary. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise." The code I'd written for my thesis, a predictive AI model for supply chain optimization, had earned me the highest grade in department history. Professor Adams had introduced me to Dr. Sarah Williams, another Black woman who'd faced similar struggles. Sarah had started her own tech consultancy after being passed over for promotions repeatedly. "The system isn't designed for us," she'd said. "So we build our own." At dawn, I walked into the 24-hour diner where I'd worked weekends. Rita, the owner, took one look at my face. "What happened, baby?" I told her everything. Rita poured coffee, then slid an envelope across the counter. "My retirement savings. 20,000. I've watched you work harder than anyone I've ever seen. Build something. Pay me back when you make it." I sobbed into her shoulder, this stranger who'd shown me more kindness than my own blood. Dr. Williams met me at her downtown office 2 days later. Her consultancy occupied a modest suite, but her confidence filled the room. "I saw the video," she said bluntly. "That's your origin story now. Every successful person has one." She'd reviewed my algorithm. "This could revolutionize inventory management for mid-sized manufacturers. They're bleeding money on inefficiency, but enterprise solutions cost millions." "I'm homeless with $500, I said. "You have Rita's 20,000, a brilliant mind, and nothing left to lose." Sarah leaned forward. "I'll invest another 30,000 for 20% equity. We'll be partners." The next week blurred together. Sarah connected me with a patent attorney who worked pro bono initially. We filed for protection on my algorithm. She introduced me to Alec. A different Alec, a developer she'd mentored who'd been fired for reporting discrimination at his previous job. They blacklisted me, developer Alex said. His hands shook slightly. Said I was difficult. No one will hire me. I will, I told him. We worked from coffee shops, libraries, anywhere with free Wi-Fi. I crashed on Sarah's couch. Developer Alec lived with his grandmother after his dismissal cost him his apartment. Then came Jennifer, a brilliant marketing strategist I remembered from campus. She'd been relentlessly mocked by Tasha and her friends for her weight. They'd started a petition to remove her from our business fraternity. I found her working retail despite her marketing degree. Why would you want me? Jennifer asked, suspicion clouding her eyes. Because you're talented and I remember who tried to destroy you. 3 months in, we had our first client. A small manufacturer desperate enough to try an improving startup. Our algorithms saved them 42% on inventory costs within 60 days. They paid us $15,000. I cried holding that check. Reinvest it, Sarah advised. We need more developers. I thought of every person my family had crushed. Not for revenge, for justice. David had been Alec's roommate freshman year. Brilliant computer engineer. Alec had spread rumors that David was stealing to cover his own thefts. David had been expelled, his scholarship revoked before the truth emerged. Too late to save his college career. I found him working construction, his dreams abandoned. You were innocent, I said. Alec lied. David's jaw clenched. Everyone knows. But no one cares. I care. I need a senior developer. $50,000 starting salary, equity stake. He stared at me like I was crazy. Then he started crying. Next was Melissa. My stepsister Brielle had sabotaged her senior year after Melissa won the lead in the school musical Brielle Wanted. Brielle had planted drugs in Melissa's locker. Though cleared eventually, Melissa's performing arts scholarship had been withdrawn. Now she managed a call center, her Broadway dreams dead. I need someone who understands performance, presentation, and connecting with audiences, I told her. Head of client relations. She laughed bitterly. I'm not qualified. You're perfect. You've been performing confidence you didn't feel for years. That's exactly what we need. By month 6 we had 7 employees. Every single one had been destroyed by my family or people in their circle. We were the island of misfit toys, as Alec developer joked. We were also growing at 300% month over month. Our breakthrough came from an unexpected place. A former professor who remembered my work contacted me about a manufacturing consortium looking for solutions. 50 mid-sized companies, all struggling with supply chain inefficiencies. The contract was worth $2.7 million over 2 years. I was 23 years old. Sarah and I sat in the car after signing, both shaking. You need to hire more staff, she said. Scale properly. I knew exactly who to recruit. Thomas had been in my freshman composition class. Exceptional writer until my cousin Tasha had accused him of plagiarism out of jealousy when he'd won a writing competition. The investigation cleared him, but the stigma remained. He dropped out, dreams of journalism crushed. I found him writing product descriptions for an e-commerce company at minimum wage. Head of communications and content strategy, I offered. $75,000. Thomas's voice broke. Why me? Because Tasha tried to destroy you for being better than her. And you are. Then came Keisha. She'd been Brielle's high school lab partner until Brielle, jealous of Keisha's natural intelligence, had sabotaged their joint project and blamed Keisha. Keisha's GPA had tanked, costing her admission to her dream college. She was now a pharmacy technician, her biochemistry aspirations gone. I need someone brilliant with data analysis, I said. Someone my stepsister tried to bury. Keisha's eyes filled with tears. I heard what they did to you. Then you know I keep my promises. By the end of year 1 we had 15 employees and $5 million in revenue. I still drove my beaten Honda. Still wore thrift store clothes. Every dollar went back into the company and paying people what they deserved. The email came on a Tuesday morning. Congratulations on your success. So proud of you, Dad. I stared at it for 10 minutes before deleting it. More messages followed. Tasha met on Instagram. Hey cuz. Heard about your company. So amazing. We should grab coffee. My stepmother sent flowers to the office with a card. Always knew you'd do great things. I threw them in the trash. Then Alec, my ex, requested a meeting through our website's contact form, listing himself as interested investor. Absolutely not, Jennifer said when she brought it to my attention. But Sarah disagreed. Let him come. Let them all see what they threw away. Alec arrived in an expensive suit, Brielle visibly pregnant beside him. My father and stepmother flanked them. Tasha trailed behind, phone already out. They dressed for success, playing the part of supportive family. I kept them waiting in our sleek conference room for 30 minutes. When I finally entered, I wore a simple black dress that cost $40. Thank you for coming, I said coolly. My father smiled, that familiar smile that used to make me desperate for approval. Sweetheart, we've been following your incredible journey. We're so sorry about the misunderstanding at your graduation. Misunderstanding? I repeated. Emotions were high, my stepmother added. Family drama. You know how it is. Brielle rubbed her belly. We want to make amends. Alec and I have been talking about investing. We have $300,000 available. The audacity nearly made me laugh. Tasha grinned. Plus, I have 50,000 followers now. I could promote your company. Really put you on the map. I looked at each face. Saw only calculation. Opportunity. Their masks barely concealed their desperation. No, I said simply. Excuse me. My father's smile faltered. I said no. To all of it. I stood, signaling the meeting's end. Alec's face darkened. Don't be stupid. We're offering you capital and connections. I don't need money bought with my father's wealth that should have supported me. I don't need Brielle's stolen credibility. And Tasha, I turned to my cousin, I definitely don't need promotion from someone whose only skill is humiliation. Tasha's phone was recording. Good. You're making a mistake, my stepmother hissed, her mask slipping. We made you. That scholarship? Your father called in favors. My scholarship was merit-based from a foundation he has zero connection to. I verified. I checked last year, needing to know. You've taken credit for my achievements my entire life while giving me nothing. My father finally showed anger. I gave you a roof over your head. You charged me rent while your wife and her children lived free. I paid for my own food. My own clothes. You gave me nothing but trauma and a childhood spent feeling worthless. This is how you repay us? Brielle shrieked. After we included you in our family? Included me? My voice rose. You stole from me, mocked me, made me a servant in my own father's house. And you, I turned to Alec, you cheated on me with my stepsister and announced it publicly to humiliate me. Alec sneered. You were always too focused on your career anyway. Brielle actually appreciates me. Then appreciate each other somewhere else. Security arrived. I'd messaged them during the meeting. My team stood in the hallway watching my family being escorted out. Tasha screamed threats about lawsuits. My stepmother promised I'd regret this. Alec called me names that made David step forward protectively. My father said nothing, and somehow that hurt worst of all. That night, a new video went viral. Tasha's recording of our confrontation. But this time the comment section looked different. She's absolutely right to cut them off. That family is toxic AF. The way they tried to take credit for her success is disgusting. But not everyone agreed. Some called me ungrateful. Others said I was arrogant, that family should forgive. The backlash hit our company reviews. 1-star ratings appeared overnight. Owner has family issues and takes it out on clients. Our consortium contract nearly fell through when one member, a friend of my stepmother's, lobbied against us. Sarah found me in the office at 2 a.m. staring at the negative reviews. They're trying to destroy what we built, I whispered. They can't, Sarah said firmly. Our results speak for themselves. He was right. Our clients' bottom lines had improved dramatically. Real metrics mattered more than fake reviews. But the stress was crushing. Jennifer developed stress-related health issues. David's anxiety, dormant since his false accusation, roared back. Melissa started having panic attacks before client presentations. Maybe we should have stayed small, Thomas said one evening. Flying under the radar. No. Keisha's voice was steel. They want us to shrink ourselves. To stay quiet. That's how they maintain power. We hired a PR firm, ironically run by another woman who'd been forced out of corporate America for not being a culture fit. She advised transparency. Tell your story. All of it. So I did. I wrote an essay about growing up as the outsider in my own family. About being charged rent as a teenager while my stepfamily vacationed in Europe. About working 3 jobs through college. About the graduation party. I published it on our company blog. It got 3 million views in 48 hours. The essay changed everything. Suddenly we weren't just a tech startup. We were a symbol. Other people who'd been cast aside, overlooked, or abused by family found us. Job applications flooded in. Not from opportunists, but from talented people with gap-filled resumes and stories that broke my heart. A woman who'd been forced to choose between her career and caring for ungrateful parents who'd emotionally abused her for years. A man whose family had stolen his inheritance to fund his brother's failed businesses. A non-binary person whose family had disowned them, leaving them homeless despite their MIT degree. We couldn't hire everyone, but we tried. We grew to 50 employees. Then 100. Every single person had been broken by someone and chose to rebuild. Year 2 revenue hit $37 million. But success bred new problems. Larger competitors noticed us. Corporate giants who'd ignored us suddenly saw threat. TechCore Industries, where my ex Alec now worked in middle management, launched a competing product. They had unlimited resources, established relationships, and aggressive lawyers. They sued us for patent infringement, claiming our algorithm too closely resembled their proprietary systems. It was baseless. Our patent predated theirs by 18 months. But defending ourselves would cost millions. They're trying to bleed us dry with legal fees, our attorney explained. Classic strategy against smaller competitors. I discovered Alec was on the development team for their competing product. He'd pitched it actually using knowledge of my work from when we'd dated. Corporate espionage via failed relationship. I'd told him about my algorithm during late-night study sessions, never imagining he'd weaponize that trust. The betrayal shouldn't have surprised me anymore. It did anyway. The lawsuit consumed us. Depositions, document production, legal fees mounting daily. Our growth stalled as resources diverted to defense. Several consortium members, pressured by TechCore's sales team and my stepmother's social influence, didn't renew contracts. Revenue dropped to $22 million. We had to freeze hiring. Maybe we should settle, Jennifer suggested during a brutal strategy session. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. No. I was adamant. We did nothing wrong. They're stealing our work and using the legal system to cover it up. David agreed. If we settle, we legitimize their claims. Other companies will smell blood. The discovery process revealed something interesting, though. TechCore's product didn't actually work as advertised. Their demos were smoke and mirrors. They'd rushed to market to undercut us, but the underlying technology was fundamentally flawed. Thomas, heading our communications, suggested a bold strategy. Go public with their fraud. That's risky, Sarah warned. They'll come after us even harder. They're already destroying us, Keisha countered. What's left to lose? I thought about everyone who'd joined us. People who'd trusted me with their second chances. People who'd bet their futures on the belief that merit mattered more than connections. We fight, I decided. Thomas crafted a detailed exposé documenting TechCore's fraudulent product claims, their history of crushing competitors through litigation, and Alec's theft of my intellectual property. We published it everywhere. The tech community exploded. Industry analysts began investigating. TechCore's stock dropped 12% in 2 days. They escalated, filing additional lawsuits. Harassment. Defamation. Anything to bury us. My father called, first time since the confrontation. Drop this vendetta. Alec is family now. He was never family, I said. And neither were you. I hung up before he could respond. The trial came 16 months after the initial filing. 16 months of hell, of bleeding resources, of watching my team suffer. But we'd prepared meticulously. Our attorney, Gloria, a black woman who'd won landmark discrimination cases, was magnificent. She presented our patent filing dates, expert testimony on the algorithm's fundamental differences, and evidence of Alec's access to my work. Then she did something unexpected. She called Alec to the stand. Mr. Harrison, you dated the defendant for 4 years during college, correct? Yes. Alec looked confident in his expensive suit. During that time, did she discuss her computer science thesis with you? Sometimes. We talked about lots of things. Gloria smiled. Did you know that TechCore's algorithm uses a cascade structure nearly identical to the one described in Ms. Main Character, is thesis? I wouldn't know. I'm not a developer. Really? Gloria produced documents. According to your LinkedIn profile and these emails, you're listed as a senior developer on TechCore's team. You specifically pitched this project. Alec's confidence cracked. I meant I didn't develop the core technology. No, you stole it. Gloria presented more evidence. His emails to colleagues explicitly referencing my ex's work as inspiration. The courtroom was silent. But the real bombshell came when Gloria revealed TechCore's internal memos. Executives had knowingly rushed a faulty product to market specifically to destroy our company, viewing us as a diversity hire threat to their market dominance. The actual words used in those memos were so blatantly racist and sexist that the judge's expression turned to stone. We won. Completely. TechCore was ordered to pay damages, legal fees, and faced additional investigations. Alec was fired. We walked out of that courthouse to camera flashes and reporters. My team surrounded me, this family I'd built from broken pieces. We did it, Jennifer sobbed. But something felt hollow in my chest. Post-trial, everything exploded in the best way possible. Major clients who'd been watching from the sidelines rushed to sign with us. Revenue hit $200 million by year 3. We moved into a gleaming headquarters. I hired 200 more employees, still prioritizing those who'd been cast aside, overlooked, or broken. Tech magazines featured us. I gave keynote speeches. Forbes listed me as a rising entrepreneur to watch. The vindication should have felt sweet. Glad I felt empty. My father sent a letter. Not an email, an actual letter like that made it more meaningful. He apologized, claimed he'd been manipulated by his wife, said he'd always loved me. It was 20 years too late and utterly hollow. Tasha's social media career had imploded after her role in our family's toxicity was exposed. She worked retail now, her influencer dreams dead. Sometimes I saw her posts, bitter rants about cancel culture and family betrayal. I felt nothing. Brielle and Alec had divorced. Apparently, his infidelity hadn't stopped with me. She'd moved back in with my father and stepmother, a single mother living on their charity just as I once had. The cosmic justice should have satisfied me. It didn't. Sarah noticed my withdrawal. You won, she said gently. Why do you look so sad? Because winning didn't fix anything. I stared out my office window at the city below. I have money, success, revenge. And I'm still that girl at her graduation party, watching her family destroy her. The trauma hadn't disappeared with success. The wounds hadn't healed with vindication. You need therapy, Sarah said bluntly. Real help processing this. He was right. I'd built an empire on pain, but I hadn't actually addressed the pain itself. The therapist's office felt too quiet. Dr. Morrison, a middle-aged black woman with kind eyes, let me sit in silence for 10 minutes before speaking. Tell me about your mother, she finally said. I broke. Everything I'd buried, losing mom at 12, my father's immediate remarriage, feeling abandoned and replaced, the years of trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it, poured out. You built something extraordinary, Dr. Morrison said after weeks of sessions. But you built it on anger. What happens when the anger runs out? I didn't have an answer. My team had become family truly. But I realized I'd been using them too, surrounding myself with people who'd been hurt like me, creating an echo chamber of shared pain. That wasn't healing. That was collective trauma masquerading as solidarity. 6 months into therapy, I made a decision. I stepped back as CEO, moving to chairman of the board. I promoted Sarah to CEO. She'd earned it, and honestly, she was better at it than me. I started a foundation for people escaping toxic families. Scholarships, housing assistance, therapy funding, job placement. Real help, not just inspiring post. I never reconciled with my father. Or Tasha. Or any of them. Some bridges should stay burned. But I stopped checking their social media. Stopped measuring my worth against their failures. Let go of the fantasy that my success would make them finally love me. They were incapable of that. It was never about my worthiness. On the 5-year anniversary of my graduation party, I visited Rita's diner. She'd retired, living comfortably on her returns from our company. "You did it, baby," she said, hugging me tight. "We did it," I corrected. Success hadn't healed me. Revenge hadn't satisfied me. But choosing to break the cycle to build something real beyond the pain, that was worth everything. I'll never have the family I deserved. Some losses can't be recovered. But I built something better. A chosen family, a purpose, a life that mattered. And on my hardest days, that has to be enough. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and share your own story in the comments. You're not alone, and your pain doesn't define your future. Remember, the best revenge isn't success, it's healing. Take care of yourselves, and thank you for letting me share this journey with you.